What's going on, guys? It's Flaws, and in this video we're going to be talking about the top 5 agents for beginners in Valorant. If you're not a beginner, you might still learn something in this video, but this is just going to be for beginners that are starting out maybe in their first FPS game or just starting out playing Valorant. The first one we're going to talk about is Cypher. Cypher, I think, is top 5. He's probably number 5 at that. He's really good at defending. He can throw these trips like this and all the choke points on maps. Pop your cage once that trip goes off. It just kind of helps hold them off a little bit and provides a lot of value for the rest of your team. This camera, you can kind of throw it wherever. It doesn't actually matter too much as long as you're putting it a little bit safely. Once your teammates get kills, you can use your ultimate on the person and understand where everyone else is on the map. He doesn't really require a whole bunch of things that can also mess up your team. Like if you throw a bad cage, your team's not really going to be too mad at you. If you throw like a bad flash on a different character or a grenade that damages your team, they're going to be a lot more tilted. But your cages are basically just thrown on your trips wherever you throw. Doesn't really matter too much. And then once your trips are obviously broken, you can pop your cage just to make sure that they don't push through either even further, or you can kind of split up their push. If you're on the defender side, I'm sure you've probably heard if you've played enough games already, that you can just kind of set up trips like this just to make sure your flank's being held. But that's Cypher, number 5. At number 4, we have Raze. Raze is someone that you can kind of mess up your team with. So if they're hitting a site, like they're down here, maybe don't throw a nade on top of them. But your nade can do a lot of damage if you just kind of throw it like this. Your ultimate's really easy to use. While you're hitting a site, just kind of run in. You can just run in like this. Hold it out. If you see anyone, just shoot close to them. The explosion will kill them. It's pretty easy. Your boom bot, you can kind of just throw while you're running into a site like this and just follow it. If it tracks anyone, you know someone's there, so you can shoot at them. The boops, I wouldn't really worry too much about, hitting good satchels to fly in. You can use them as like things to peek when you're hitting a site, so throw it on a wall, boop it, and then swing with that. But besides that, just keep it really simple. Make sure your nade's getting thrown deep enough so it doesn't hit your team. And that's Raze. Coming in at number 3, we have Clove. This was a tough one between Clove and Brimstone. If you don't have Clove, you can just use Brimstone. It's basically the same thing. But the reason for this is it's so easy to place smokes on the map, and it's so easy to see. You can just place them down, hit the site, get the plant off. Even if you die with Clove, you can also still have impact with your team. Don't worry too much about the healing. The decay, you can throw at your teammate. If you accidentally hit him, it's okay. It's just a decay. They'll get their health back instead of like a raise nade. But that's why I chose Clove instead of Brimstone. Brimstone, same thing. Just use your smokes how you should. Smoke deeper on sites, hit the site. Get the plant down. If you're defending, you can obviously smoke the choke points like this. Doesn't matter too much. But just kind of play more as like a support for your team on these two characters. But that's why I went with Clove instead of Brimstone. So that's number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Sage. Sage is one of the easier ones just because the utility and the kit's not too difficult to understand. This is your heal. You can put a wall up to kind of stop any attackers coming in. I probably wouldn't do that one because it's really dangerous, but you can throw it towards B here, they start coming in. Throw a wall to hold this area off, and then you just have to fight this side. But just Sage is a really good one just to control the map a little bit and slow your enemies down. Watch out with your slow orbs when you're taking a site. You don't want to throw them in areas where your team's going to be pushing into. If they're going to be peeking this, you don't want to slow them, obviously. But just keep that in mind. Sage is very easy just to help your teammate out. You can obviously res. But the wall is the biggest thing on Sage, just because you can have a ton of impact and it's not too difficult to understand. And last but definitely not least, I'm going to go with Killjoy as the number 1 easiest agent to understand and start out as a beginner, because there's a lot of games that I'll play as Killjoy where you can just kind of throw your utility up, get it set here, maybe throw this alarm bot like that, throw a molly on it or two, it doesn't really matter. And you honestly don't even have to play the game for half the round. You can kind of just sit back, wait till your alarm bot goes off or your turret just starts shooting, just so that you have information for your team. This way you're not taking fights as a beginner too much. If you want to actually work on that, I'd suggest playing Reyna. Reyna's actually pretty good for beginners because you can't blind your teammates, which is nice if you're running into that issue where you're blinding your teammates all the time. Last thing though, the only tricky thing on Killjoy is if you're setting up a turret on site or something and you want to put it in an area, let's see, like here, just make sure you right click it so that the turret's actually facing the area you want to spin it around. But besides that, Killjoy's ult's pretty easy as well. You can be safely out of a site and then just ult and help your teammate get back in the site. Let's see, probably like here. You can obviously see on the minimap. But that's why I would go with Killjoy as like the #1 best agent to try to learn the game from, because she kind of does a lot with understanding how to control a map and help your teammate out. But if you guys disagree, let me know in the comments down below. That's it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.